Dave Frankson. Hey, Dave Frankson.
Good evening.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, Carl.
I'm sorry.
All right, tonight's Oregon Town Board meeting will come to order. And Jennifer, do the roll call.
Carl Walzer.
Here.
Lori Fitzgerald. Here. Arlen Kai.
Here.
Tim LeBrun.
Here.
And Steve Jernigan.
All right, I think we just have one set of minutes from last month. So I've been looking for, well, first, if there are any edits or corrections.
One correction.
Yep.
On page 6 of the packet
Yep.
under future meeting dates.
Yep.
The August 14th.
Yep.
Road and traffic safety committee meeting is not up there. Should be.
At those meeting dates, so just so we're all aware, those meeting dates are only just like FYI dates. They're not official.
Yeah.
They're just,
I just thought it should be in there lest someone should
yeah.
think we were not transparent.
Yeah.
About our meetings.
And then I will actually take them off if they're like in the same week that we have our board meeting. I
Yeah.
will take them off. So, yeah.
And I will abstain. Because I was absent.
Okay.
Any other concerns? Nope. And without objection, the July minutes are approved. And Jennifer, the financial report and what was?
So in your packet, you're gonna have both the June financial report from Stephanie, and you're also gonna have the July because she was on vacation. She has a little note in here. It looks like there's a negative in our checking, but there is not. And that is because that overage check, we did not mail that overage check for Kane and Dolan. I still actually have that in our drawer right now since we are still deciding what to do about that overage check for Kane and Dolan. So that was just, that has not cleared, but it has not also not gone. So, the loan balances, which are on page 12 of your packet, I added the new loan that is that 2025 loan that we have just added. I just wanted to point out, so if you're looking down our loans, the 2025 loan that we just paid off, that's that third loan on that list of loans. And if you look at the total payment due, that was the $115,183. So that is being replaced with the new loan amount of $144,824. So that's the difference of the payments that we would be going up with that new loan that we took out. And then on page 13, that's just the new schedule of payments that we got with that new loan. So that's that. And then for payments, the payment vouchers for this month, I think that we just made the payment for the vision survey. We made that payment for UW's River Falls, and that was $8,149. All right.
Any questions?
I just had one question, and I think I already answered it myself on page 14.
Mm-hmm.
Down on the bottom, the US Bank credit card.
Yeah.
I saw the bill to Chewy, and I was wondering if we had inherited a new mascot, but that must be for the doggy bags.
Yeah, we buy the doggy pot
All right.
and the dispensers.
Yes, got it.
You can get an office cat.
Yes.
An office cat.
Yeah, there are a lot of cats, I guess, that need to be owned. around.
All right, any other questions about the financial report? Okay, then without objection, the reports and the payment vouchers are approved. Public comments, or did you have like either something you want to talk about here or on a different part of the agenda?
I actually came here just to see what you guys are up to nowadays.
Okay.
My major concern was having my assessment. You wonder at first, if the house is twice as much, how will the taxes go? And what you guys have found I know it evens out for like people in newer houses, it's more practical.
There've been a fair amount of people that are asking about the assessments.
It feels like taxes on unrealized gains.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. If you have any concerns that, questions to the assessors, they're available by phone. I think the in-person meetings are over,
Mhm.
but they're available by phone. There's a way to contact them online to either, the yellow sheet that was in that envelope.
Mhm.
There were two sheets. One had the actual revision, the updated assessed value. Then there was a yellow sheet with some information. If you don't have that anymore, then you can check the town's website
Sure,
under the news section, and there's the information's there too.
sure, but I was worried more about like plans for spending more.
It's a good question. We're gonna be talking about some of those things.
The budget.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just, yeah. We'll be talking about some of the things that go into, are we gonna be spending more?
Just
In this
meeting. I'm sorry.
So
listen.
in and of itself, though, the revaluation doesn't affect your taxes, not direct.
Okay,
Now, that doesn't preclude that whatever we're doing during the year won't put them up a little bit. But your taxes, your local taxes don't increase by the amount of the increase of the valuation. It's not a one for one at all.
Did you see the notice that the average increase was 54%? Did you see that notice that came out?
oh, no,
That was sent out,
Yeah.
you sent that out from the appraisal company, that the average overall increase in assessment was 54%. So if you want kind of a good idea whether or not you think your taxes may go up or down, find out what your percentage increase is. If it's less than 54%, there's a chance that your taxes may go down because everybody else's went up more than yours.
sure,
If you're more than 54%, then chances are your taxes are going to increase because your value went up more than the average of all the other people in the township.
can you calculate an increase approximately from those numbers? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could theoretically, but you don't know, you need to know the mill rate to do that in perfection.
Right.
But let's just say yours went up 58% and the average was 54%. You could take 58 over 54 times what you paid last year and get a ballpark idea of what your increase might be regardless of, but there's other factors involved, but I'm just saying ballpark.
Yeah, that's all right, that's good. Thank you.
It's more about what we spend than what your house is worth.
It is.
It's more about what we spend as a town than what your house is worth. So,
And we're limited in doing that too. I mean, there's only so much we can buy before we hit limits. Can I say,
Yeah.
this is really loud back here. I don't want to cook us, but can we?
No, let's try and see if we can turn that.
I tried turning it off one night, it didn't work.
It's very difficult.
takes a little time. to
Yeah.
settle.
I mean, I turned it off and it kept going.
Yeah. It's difficult.
But that's how I look at it. As an easy way of figuring out whether or not yours went up more or less than. If everybody goes up the same, then it doesn't change anything.
Sure. One of the factors in that though is that we only do, the town of Oregon only does revaluations every 5 years. And we were talking about this the other day, and the village used to do every other year, and now they're doing every year now.
They did and now they're doing every other.
So there may still be the same increase, the village may be increasing at the same rate that we are, but they're doing it over 5 years instead of one shot every 5 years. So it's a little bit 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but it's a little shocking when you see it on paper in your mail. Anything else on that at all?
No, that's good, thanks.
All right, so it's the public comments. I just want to make a move on the agenda. Let's tackle 16A right now, and it's a reappointment of Jennifer and Whitney. So for appointed clerks and appointed treasurers, the board, if they wish to reappoint, has the option to reappoint for 3 years, not every 3 years. and previous appointments or reappointments have been 3 years. So what it open up is, open up this agenda item to either a motion right away on both positions being reappointed, or if there's discussion or questions, we should tackle those.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We have talked a little bit about the structure of paid staff, the hierarchy or decision-making or governing process. And I just want to make sure that if we reappoint this evening for 3 years, that that doesn't preclude us to make changes to the structure at any time in the
It
future.
does not.
Okay.
And, you know, the things we have in the works, we have the employee handbook in the
Yes.
works. We have a recategorization of the town clerk
Yeah.
position to be a town administrator. I
Yes.
think those are really the two key, and all position descriptions too. you know,
Yes.
But we've got the ability to take those actions even if we reappoint tonight.
Got it.
I'll be looking for a motion if there aren't any other questions or comments.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint the appointment of Clerk Jennifer Hanson and Treasurer Stephanie Goff to 3-year terms.
All right, do you hear a second?
Second.
Lori seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you. Excellent. Congratulations.
I think, in my sympathies.
Last 2 days, I don't know.
You're doing.
Yes.
Yes.
You're cool as a cucumber right now, Jennifer.
Yeah.
No, it's stressful.
All right, so let's move on to item 6 then. And this is a building committee report and Alan, do you want to give just a brief summary on where we are with trying to track down?
Okay, what we're looking, have been following up with this Will Scott Company on a mobile units. And we're looking at two units, one for the Torque and one for a new office. I was looking at, there's a big difference between a new module that comes out, that's out of the factory, in quality and condition versus lightly or heavily used units that they're also selling. That, as the salesman said, need a little TLC.
Yes.
In some cases, they need a lot of TLC, but something that hopefully would work. We're looking at a 32 by 10 office module, and that delivered to the site on wheels would be $55,295 for shipping, handling, and new unit office setting on your spot. So what we'd be responsible for would be the electrical hookup,
The infrastructure.
the infrastructure for it. We do not need a pad for it. The used one, instead of 55, they have a 32 by 8 foot unit. That'd be $10,102. Now I think I sent you a whole list of ones that they had,
Yeah.
and the prices are varying, but that seemed to be something that was in reasonable condition. I think that would be far better than the troops trying to scab together another shed
Sure.
like they have out there. It's something that they can move around, because we're looking at relocating on the Torque grounds to be changing the flow. But those are the preliminary numbers. And if we got a new one that was 24 by 8, it'd be 35,000.
Yeah.
Versus 10,000.
You're
Of course,
thinking
let them use.
Torque.
Pardon?
So you got the first one, you know, sitting more for the public works,
Right,
get that's a more,
that'd be something that'd be daily usage
daily usage, yeah.
rather than every other week
And then
usage.
a 32 by 24, I interrupted you. Or what-
32 by 8 would be $10,102.
Gotcha.
And I have got the computer here that can show you, there's a wide variety of ones.
Uh-huh.
He is sending me where to go besides looking at the online showroom.
Mhm.
I said we wanted to go and kick the tires,
Mhm.
have the troops see what it
We'll
is.
have them all look at it. And
Have everybody said,
when
and
stuff
give their
made.
blessing that this is okay.
And that's down in Elgin, right?
Down in Elgin has the biggest supply. He's trying to get, I said, do they have something here in Madison?
Mhm.
And he was getting back to me as to what kind of schedule they're doing. So apparently their office has rearranged in Madison.
Okay,
That once was a little more central or busy location.
okay, Tim?
There are a couple for sale relatively local. A person who was in the construction business,
Yes.
but a relatively new construction company, has two of them for sale, very similar in size to the ones you described, between 8 and 10 feet and between 24 and 32 feet.
This would be wonderful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they have two of them, and they were $14,000 a piece, or both of them for 24,000.
No.
You know, this is sounding rather intriguing. We're gonna probably go kick the tires.
Yes, and it's more local than Elgin.
It's
Yeah.
far-
It'd be worth looking at. for
I
sure.
think that'd be very much worth looking at. Who do we contact to do this?
You know what? I forgot my phone, and it has that information's on my phone,
Okay.
but I can get it to you.
Can we, do we have an impeachment process?
Yes.
I'm not sure that the cover's forgotten.
For you,
Yes.
Yeah, there's,
Arlen, this changes the.
this changes the dynamics a lot.
Yes, I'll see if I
it
can.
really does.
And if they're in decent condition,
Yeah,
that even makes it very desirable.
Yeah.
Even the shipping is, you won't have to,
right,
getting it there, you'll save some money,
right.
yeah.
I don't remember when we were talking to Abel and Ryan about dimensions,
Yes.
did we say that 8
Is this one?
was not too short?
8 was a little narrow,
So we were talking about 10 as
We
a
were talking
minimum,
10
right?
feet.
10 to
10 by 30,
something.
and the 32 said, okay,
Okay.
that fits, but if we can,
He's using my phone to get his phone.
okay.
Oh, you can contact later.
Love you.
Wait, well, did we lose a quorum? Almost, not quite.
We can recess for 45 seconds.
Lori's having more problems with having trouble with
about
What
my
happened?
water
Oh
bottle.
my God.
No, it's good. I've got it under control now.
Okay,
Sure.
but I think this would be absolutely because even this is less than a prefab office unit that comes in components and put it together. And we can also be reselling this if for some reason we're doing some other office management or other location.
What was I think back to the meeting, the last meeting that I was in, I think. Was there an issue with having it on wheels versus not having it on wheels?
There was Abel was wanting to have something that was close to the grate.
Okay.
This is something that's on wheels, and I said, and it has to have stairs. I brought that up to Abel, and he said, okay, he can deal with that.
Okay.
So it's less of an issue than at the time, I would think that was a desire, but
So that restriction then is gone.
I
For
believe
the
that
most part. So
restriction
it
was
opens up, say, a possibility where we don't really know the specs on those.
Left a message. I'm hoping Susie can just drop by with my phone and I can
Okay.
bring that information to bear.
This would be good. Thank you very much for
No, it's great to.
chasing down, because I was starting to chase down who else was supplying, and if
Yeah, a lot of those construction site trailers are really spent trailers.
yes,
But these two they're not that old for one thing. And they're all insulated and they're all electrified and they have 50 amp circuits in them if we have to plug something big into them.
Mhm.
And so it's worth looking at.
it's definitely.
It's a 2-for-1. Okay, That sounds
Thank
good. That sounds very good. And well, in another agenda item or two, we'll want to talk about the financing for the trailers, which I think will probably push down the road while we still do the part financing. So anyway, anything else on that, Arlen?
I think that about does it.
Oh, one more question, I guess, before,
Yes.
just to close the loop in my head. The couple companies that we looked at, one was like Mobile Mini,
Mobile
Minis.
Mini.
and they didn't really have, they couldn't match up to what we were looking for.
They are, Mobile Mini is Will Scott.
Oh, it is.
So are they
Oh,
merged or
okay.
this is?
Oh.
So
And those
Yeah.
are primarily, the mobile minis are primarily shipping containers as
Correct.
opposed to mobile
Look at
offices.
trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
But this, they sell them as
Yeah.
offices.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost track of the,
Yep, nope, that was it. That was it. It was, in addition, they sell these
Yep.
construction and sell and or rent construction trailers.
okay. Right, anything else on that?
I think we beat around. I'm eagerly looking forward to hearing about this.
Dave, did you want to talk to the next agenda item? Talk about the next agenda, item, Parks Committee?
Sure. Just a quick update. Three major things. One, Carl and Eugene and Jennifer were at the Town of Rutland meeting to talk about our new equipment playground equipment that's coming for Kennedy Park. I understand they got a positive response. They're looking at something maybe in the 2026 budget, not anything for this year.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything this year.
Right.
They were talking about, like an agenda item before we talked, they were talking about some other thing that was almost like you had to do it, but they were concerned because it cost 10,000. So they don't have, there's no I'm not sure who has wiggle room in their town budgets anymore, but
But I
yeah,
understand
they're-
you told them we're willing to wait
Yeah.
to a 2026 budget, so.
I had a question, and I don't know that, but we didn't really like put anything out there for like a dollar amount, obviously, right? We didn't ask them for a specific amount. We didn't say anything. But the spinner, which there's lack of a better, the
Yeah,
spinner.
Yeah, right?
I don't know, like it's a spinner, but
Mhm,
if there's a term.
mhm, yeah, that's fine.
Looking at the bill, it looks like it's around 8,000, let's just say 10,000, right? For that spinner.
Okay, okay.
Would it, do you think, not maybe Carl, I'm asking you
It's
as
a
well,
great
or
idea.
Eugene, would it be like something where we could ask them, like, because that seems like that's an addition to,
Mhm,
it may be asking them for an actual ask for something.
yeah,
Because it seemed from that maybe getting around asking them for a certain dollar amount or just putting it out there for a certain dollar amount is, and I wanted to know if I was reading the bill correctly. That's why I wanted to ask you if that thinner thing was
yeah,
that
I mean,
amount.
I'd have to look exactly on that, but it's not 10, it's like 8. I know Carl and I have talked about the issue of what we think would be reasonable for them to contribute, and I think Carl's number was higher than that.
No,
So, and whether or not we included more than one item, for instance, in regard to that, and so we don't have to put up the barbed wire fence there, so. The barbed wire fences, if they don't get, it's a joke, if they don't contribute, we're gonna put a barbed wire fence along the edge so the Town of Rutland residents can't use it. Just a joke, just a joke.
It's out there.
Yeah, yeah.
we didn't really have a number to give them either. And I think that when you're going to budget, it's always good to have some number to give to somebody, and we didn't have a number to give them, and it would be nice to sort of, or to give them a number of what, and I didn't, that seemed to be where we were kind of lacking.
I would not spin it. I would present that as casually as possible.
Yeah, I would
You know,
agree.
because and we can say, hey, here, if you want, here's some of the equipment costs. Do you want to sponsor one of those pieces, or do you just want to do a flat whatever you
Right.
can afford?
Mhm.
Because I don't want to make it seem like we're strong arming them
Yeah,
for
No,
the
no.
use of the park. I mean, I don't think we are.
No.
But I also don't want anybody to take it that way.
yeah,
It's just like, hey, do you want to participate? Do you want to contribute? We'll put your name on a sign too,
Right.
along with ours,
right.
but how about if you give us more than what the sign costs? Other than that, I don't, something like that, but very casual. And it could be, maybe not even in one of their formal board meetings, but I don't know if they have a park committee or not. I
They don't
guess.
have any park.
I don't,
Oh, then they don't need any. Okay, so then,
That's why they need to help us.
that's true.
I think
You
we
can say you have
should,
a park now.
yeah, I think we should go to them with some kind of data to say, currently in that neighborhood, there are X number of properties.
oh, I've done that already.
Great,
That was in my
Yep.
great.
exhaustive email to them outlining everything, including our costs,
Mhm.
what the design, the number of, the fact that there's more residents in the town of Rutland that are within proximity of the park than there are town of Oregon residents. Like specific numbers. I have a map with houses with numbers on them. So yeah, so go ahead.
So I think that if we present that kind of data and at each turn, it sounds like we have come to the table above and beyond up to this point. And then just simply saying these parks aren't inexpensive.
Oh, yeah.
The replacement of this equipment alone is six figures, is over $100,000. And as we know, it's hard to come up with that kind of money in a small municipality like theirs, because we're a small municipality too.
Mhm.
But we'd like to find a way to replace that with safe equipment that serves that neighborhood. And I would start with the percentage of use and I would lay it out there and stop talking. And if it's 60-40, for instance, 60% is Rutland and 40% is ours, I would simply say, we put a lot of time into the planning, the siting, the quoting, and the project management on this. And so we're not asking you to do any of those things.
Right.
But we'd like to share in the wealth as well. And then just stop talking and wait for them to come back with what they think.
Whatever they
is
can
fair.
afford.
What they think
Maybe-
is fair.
Yeah.
Maybe they end up, maybe zero is the dollar amount. And that's
It
fine.
could very well
And I
be.
think I said in the meeting that we're doing this project.
Mhm.
The town is doing the project. It's been our park for
Sure.
decades.
Sure.
I don't know exactly what I said, but that's the sense I have of it would be better to be informal and casual about it
Mhm.
in the request. And what I think what you're getting is not necessarily a specific dollar amount, but
Right.
information to compare to what the
Information
equipment costs.
To
Like
help
here,
them come to a decision.
Do you think it'd be advisable, for instance, I mean, they have, a board meeting that's set for budget deliberations or something, to have a representative at, for instance, that kind of meeting where they're setting the budget for 2026?
probably.
I think so. I think to have information available and ready to go, even if you don't have to say anything. And being there and available and ready to provide information, I think can be very it can be very powerful and get them to a decision more quickly and more confidently.
I'd be hesitant to go to their budget setting meeting because that's usually when things are set. I'd go to the meeting before that.
Sure.
Right. like-
Planning.
There's still some
A planning meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're planning time.
And,
And also there's
Go ahead.
the age of the equipment that it's replacing.
Mhm.
I mean, these things have,
And that we funded 100% of the equipment that is
Yeah.
now being replaced. So I think there's just all kinds of information that we can be there to have that ready again. Even if it's just 3 bullet points, the percentage of use, the cost of the equipment and the work that's been done up to this point. I think it will be easier for them to come to some conclusions.
my only question about that is, who do you think could be the proper representative from the town of Oregon to handle that? I mean, I'm certainly happy to go, but in some ways, I think, a board to board kind of contact might be better. I'm open to whatever possibilities you think, but I think we should designate somebody that's gonna fulfill that function.
Sure. I'm happy to go. I think that because I think someone who's been to that conversation already should be there, so it's not new
Mhm.
to them. They see a familiar face, but I'm happy to go as well.
Okay.
From a board
But I
perspective.
think it could be more than one person.
Sure,
You know, I think
absolutely.
Dave for sure.
Yeah, I think.
That's fine.
Maybe Eugene, if you think you,
Yeah,
for just informational sake, and then a board member.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
So we just have to do some work on when they're gonna have at these meetings and
Sure.
when we need to go. And I'll send you what I sent to the Rutland Town Board Chair. If the rest of the board wants a copy of that, I'd be happy to send it to you. Also, it's fairly long and involved and basically describe what we're doing and the demographics of the area and,
Sure.
you know, we'd like to have a contribution from them towards it if they can do so.
I would say at the meeting, the people who you could read their response to it were positive. And I can't in my head picture, like Sue, I think was, and I think Nancy was. I couldn't read Jim or Kent very much, and I'm missing a person.
Their meetings are a little different, like where they don't really have packets necessarily. It's so, I guess that's why when I was saying to give them a number, is like they didn't have the packets. It was like they would constantly be trying to find the information you gave them, like in their file.
That's why having
It's
being there, I think, is so
Right.
important.
So it was like, hey, can you find it? And it was like, where, you know, and we're kind of sitting there. So it was like,
I mean, I did send it both to Kent and Dawn George, so.
well, yeah, and then it was a third person trying to find it in
Oh.
somebody else's documents. It was not like,
Yeah.
it was not streamlined at all. So that's why I was like, there was no figures up on the screen where anyone could look at.
Yeah.
Like dollar amounts. And so that's why I was saying there's no amount of money. I think something else I thought of afterward is how we got park fees from those residents. I wonder if there was any park fees from those lots
Oh, yeah.
given to
Oh,
the town of
Rutland.
Rutland during that time, or how that ever
Yeah.
transpired, because why would your neighbor give a park fee and then you didn't, you know, that's something else to, like, is there money sitting someplace?
right.
Did we have the park fees that long ago
Yeah,
when Fahey?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That's seventies.
Oh,
yeah,
And
yeah,
again, they have
Did?
0 parks.
Yeah. yeah,
So it would be difficult to absorb park fees and not have any parks.
Right.
So,
I'm wondering what happened during that time in that area, like,
mhm.
It's a goofy thing in the number of roads that we have half and they have half, and roads we can't get to that we own.
yeah, and they were actually, I talked about that in a meeting about different things that they were talking about anyways.
It's gonna be something like isn't there a library up at the US-Canada border where it cuts through the building itself? I think it's gonna be the same thing, is that we're just having to be on the other side of the
No longer is.
What's that?
Used to be free access for both people to be able to use it. Now they can't.
Yeah.
Now they cannot go past the actual dividing line anymore to go use the other part of the library.
Yeah.
So I had 2 other things. One, just quick, one, we have an Eagle Scout project that's gonna be happening this fall at Bicentennial Park. Eagle Scout is a potential Eagle Scout is going to be putting erosion bars in on the steepest parts of the trails there to prevent erosion. And that's his project. We've approved it. The Parks Committee has established a policy that we will furnish 50% of the cost of any Eagle project, the rest remaining having to be fundraised by the individual looking to become an Eagle Scout via this project. We have a second Eagle Scout project that we just approved at the last meeting for the town park. If you look back in the only other prior parks and open space plan back in '82, there was proposed in there that there would be a pavilion, picnic table pavilion at the town park. Nothing was ever done about it. we're doing something about it. We've got an potential Eagle Scout project. We've already seen, he's already provided the architectural drawings. He's got all the material costs. We are expecting that will be installed. He came originally with a small version and we're like, this is the town park. We need something bigger. He also included concrete. But be that as it may, the structure is going to be 16 by 24.
Nice.
Okay, and it's going to be set on the hillside. If you take the paved path from the parking lot, it curves around. On the inside of the curve is all the playground equipment. Opposite that, just slightly up on the hill, we're going to put the 16 by 24 pavilion. It's going to have a metal roof. Yeah, we've approved the project. I've signed off on it. We've looked at the material list. It's all individually itemized with costs. And we just, yeah. So, and we're gonna deal with whether we're gonna put concrete in there or not. I've got somebody coming out on Monday at 4 p.m. The concrete company, it's the same company that actually did the base for essentially the same type of shelter at Bethel, what is that park?
Green Acre.
Yeah, park there. If you want to look at what we're looking at, it's very similar to that. Although it will be open, they have closed theirs, that area, but it will be entirely open. It'll have trusses from that Menards did in their computer. So anyway, that's, I just wanted to let you know about it. Yeah, Tim.
Are there any ADA requirements that we have to fulfill?
We discussed that, and we need to do some additional research in terms of measuring the slope and the rise in the slope and taking a look at what the ADA requirements are for rise in the slope.
For the pathway?
For the
get up
path
to it?
off of the paved path to get to where the pavilion will be. So we're discussing it.
Mhm.
We haven't completed what we need to know about it yet, but that'll happen. So, and we will take that into account. We may decide to pave that or not. We haven't made that decision either. But we are taking that definitely into consideration. So thanks for the question.
Do you know what the slope is?
We didn't measure it when we were out there choosing the site out of the various different places we could. We know there's, I don't know.
I think 5% is the sort of the max without handrails.
Okay. Yeah, and so what I talked about was when we figure out what the slope is, there is a slope, okay. And when we determine that 5% is what it is, so I mean you should know that.
But always verify it.
So trust but verify, yeah. So anyway, there's a coming off of the curve that's coming around this way and going at a right angle is going to have the highest slope. Okay. We don't necessarily have to have that. If that exceeds the 5%, we can actually start the path down lower and have it come up the ridge so that the slope over time is not the 5% or whatever we're going for. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So we have no decisions at this point on that, but we are definitely considering it and we'll take that into consideration when we cite whatever path we're going to have to that pavilion.
Sounds great. Sounds great to me.
Is the picnic tables and things like that are gonna go in, could that be a separate Eagle Scout project? Or is that part of this project?
It's not part of this project.
Okay.
This project is just the
The
pavilion.
structure. Got it.
We're still deciding if we're gonna do concrete and if we do, what that's gonna look like and cost. And we also have to talk to the town crew because we may want them to excavate one side and move dirt over to the other side to make that site level. And I don't know if the town crew will do that or if the concrete guys will just bring in equipment, they'll just do it to whatever, but that's why I got somebody coming out on Monday. And we should have a second company coming out too, which hasn't been arranged yet, so we'll get 2 ideas, 2 quotes on that, so. The concrete's a little expensive. I don't know if any of you know anybody that either be willing to do finishing work on it if we brought it in, or forms, or the whole thing, or if you do, you can let me know. Otherwise, we'll just do the third-party contact to the concrete companies and see what they have going.
I think it'd be worth talking to PAR.
Yeah,
For
we had
sure.
her do the concrete out here in the shed.
Phil Munford, he's in the town over
Okay.
off at A.
Okay,
Would be a great person. He's been a town person for a long time and is pitched in lots of places.
can,
Abel and Ryan would know them
okay,
too.
do either of you have like contact information handy you can just send me?
Yeah, I do on my phone.
Either one.
I don't have it with me, but I can email it to you
All
tomorrow.
right, sure, that's fine, sounds good. And the one last thing about that, due to the cost of the pavilion. And our 50% cost sharing, we've decided the Eagle Scout project is only gonna be the structure of the pavilion. The base is gonna be the responsibility of the Parks Committee. So,
Oh, got it.
because I just thought that was too, yeah, it could be grass, it could be packed gravel, it could be wood chips, it could be concrete.
Yeah, I'd imagine concrete literally doubles the cost of the project.
Yeah, and I didn't want to put that burden
Yeah.
on the Scout. And also, yeah, and I think a lot of times the concrete's not poured till the posts of the structure are in. So we can go ahead and get the structure in, and we don't, the concrete piece of the puzzle can just happen as we're going along,
Sure.
whether we decide to or not, so. I'm done.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? All right, let's go on to item 8, and this is what I was talking about before with trailers not being a part of this, but unless we think that we can come up with trailer decision and, almost pending purchase within the time that we really need to do the financing for the park equipment, I mean, we could combine then, but it's not clear to me what, like if the options that you were talking about, Tim, if those work out, that could be really quick.
Mhm.
If they don't, then I don't know where we are.
Yeah.
Then we're
What is our deadline for filing that?
for the
our
park.
land?
We don't have any deadlines. We're gonna use, we're gonna just use Park Savings for them to order the equipment. So we're just kind of holding off and seeing if they're gonna do 1 loan or 2 loans, or combining or separating.
Right, and we-
One loan would be taking the playground equipment for 1 loan and then doing the trailers for a separate loan,
Right.
or we're gonna take those 2 loans and make them.
Oh,
Does that
I
make
I
guess.
think the reason we were talking about combining was because the terms, we could probably go to a longer term on each of those projects.
Yes.
So there may be an advantage to waiting, and if there's no disadvantage to, if we're just using the funds preliminary, like our preliminary actions to use the funds from the park fund, then maybe we see how this, Tim's possibility plays out. And if it doesn't play out, then maybe we come back next month and say, okay, do we split this up then?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It's up to you guys. That was kind of where we were at from last month. We were just,
Okay.
and I think we thought, well, we didn't really know if Rutland was gonna pitch in or what the final dollar amounts were either. So I think we were waiting to see before we borrowed what.
Right.
So now we know Rutland is waiting, so.
Yeah, there's no indication that they could pull money out of
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
drawer someplace.
No.
And even if we just financed it all and they found money in a drawer, we could just pay it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Prematurely, sure. Okay.
Do you have a feel for, back to the trailers for a sec, if we do go through Will Scott,
Yes.
do we have an indication as to, hey, we have these available, you can buy them right now, or, oh, we have to have this shipped from someplace, or?
The used ones are available now.
Okay,
The new one needs to be manufactured. But it was also indicating that it would be manufactured this fall. Don't have a specific date specific.
Okay. All right, so we don't, so I'm just thinking, if we go with Plan B and
Yeah.
and Will Scott is Plan B, then we don't lose a lot of ground.
No.
So we can probably have at least a sense of what makes sense to, how it makes sense to finance.
We should be, I should be continuing my conversation with them to be filling in that information
Okay.
while we're looking at your opportunity.
And I think either way, under no circumstances at the moment are we considering a brand new build,
No,
correct?
correct.
We are not
No.
considering any brand new build on a trailer, right? So we're even considering.
Brand new.
My door didn't.
So we're taking off the helmet.
Thank you.
DoorDash.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. I think we were actually, in preliminary discussion,
Originally, we were
but now if we've got used options that are way more
viable, yes.
Viable. The used options are, I don't think viable for the Public Works Office.
No.
The ones that that Will Scott has. From the
Okay.
description.
Okay,
And from the
These might be.
pictures that I saw, they looked a little rough. a little
Okay.
Rougher,
sure.
so we'll.
So these,
What's the fireplace in there?
so these are, so
So
these are mobile mini style
Okay,
these are in,
Cambridge.
oh,
oh,
close enough.
Good.
So they're 8.5 by 20.
Oh,
it's a little small.
that's too small.
They're 8.5 by 20. There's
But maybe
two of them.
torque, maybe for the torque,
For the torque would be, that would work,
yeah, not for public works though.
not for Public Works.
So that is just a very preliminary. If you want to give me just a
Okay,
couple of days, I can forward you some
Okay.
other options.
okay, so that's. If we're looking at something that has. That
Got it.
box of 32 by 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Excellent. Thank you, Sue. Okay, so for item 8, it sounds like we're going to postpone that until,
And on for September.
oh, yeah, it's September already. Yes. All right, item 9, the Public Works report and an update on the Storytown Drive, or the Storytown Cemetery driveway. I think that's a nice one.
So, Bob is going to make contact. I think maybe tomorrow, him and Chris are going out there to mark the
Driveway.
the perimeter survey, mark the perimeter survey. So last month, Bob Dick was here, who's one of the neighbors, and they discussed finding the survey markers on just the outside, because the survey is no longer square. It's got a little jog to it. And when the guys took up a tree, they took the survey marker with it. It happened to be the neighbor's tree. So just with having those two adjoining neighbors and finding those survey markers, those perimeter surveys. And we had 2 quotes. And that one quote was, I think, a little bit higher. They were similar. But Bob had done the first original survey, so we had him go out there again. He's gonna do that this week. They're finishing the driveway. They've pulled everything out so that it's gonna go around and no longer be on top of the gray sites. And then they're gonna have it so that the neighbors and everyone will know now where those survey markers are, so we can be friendly with our adjoining neighbors in the cemetery. So,
As well as our past members.
yeah.
Does anybody want to see pictures of the construction that's been going on there right now? I mean, as far as the rerouting of the road,
Who's doing the grading and everything?
our guys,
Oh, they are.
yeah. They have a equipment sharing,
No, we have-
equipment sharing agreement.
Oh, got
Yeah,
it.
we share an
Oh,
excavator.
okay.
Yeah. I think I might have some pictures too. You have some pictures? I think I might have some pictures too.
Anybody wants to see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I had some too.
Oh, yeah, culverts and everything. Nice.
So that's beyond, and that's been confirmed that we're beyond.
The credit kind of collapsed.
No, good.
Mhm.
And Bob has been out there.
Yes,
He staked it.
Oh, good, okay.
no, he's doing it tomorrow.
Okay.
He's doing it, and I think the perimeter is more for all of the adjoining neighbors to
Yeah.
just be clear of where they are. The county was happy that we did get the driveway permit and the county was happy with where that newer entrance is coming out onto the road. They liked that better than where we're taking away that other one in that middle. They liked this location better. I haven't been out there. You've obviously been out there, so you can speak to.
Does it look good, Dave?
Yeah,
Oh, they're doing a great job.
Great.
I mean,
Get that right on the record.
yeah. I
they're going through some major woods there to get that that new driveway in. So, I mean, they didn't take the easy route. I mean, they took the best route possible to avoid any conflict with current grave sites. So,
Well, for the record, if they're having a driveway that's gonna be reasonable in size. With the drives within the old cemetery itself, we're only 12 feet between graves.
mm,
Pretty narrow.
yeah,
That's pretty narrow, pretty unworkable, so this is getting something out to where we can be away.
It looks pretty, like it looks pretty when they
Yeah.
take a picture, like, and
It
it like
does.
it kind of looks like you
Yeah.
can look through the woods. I don't know if that's how it actually looks, but when they took a picture, it looks,
yeah.
That's great.
so. I mean. And then is this playground equipment the one that, is this Raven
Raven
Oaks?
Oaks.
And then I don't know if anyone's been to Raven Oaks, but it's the really nice, it almost looks like brand new equipment. I don't know. if any-
Absolutely.
Oh, is that the stuff that was
Yeah.
Yeah, that we had it all color powder coating.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guys took pictures. It looks really, really nice.
So this has been spiffed up.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Looks good.
yeah,
We may need to do something like that with the equipment at the town park.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's showing its age.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that could be next year, or the year after. or
Sure.
whatever. We got a lot
We
of,
have an idea what it costs now.
right,
do that.
and how to do that and what to take off and,
Right.
you know, and it's always the platforms
Sure.
and the stairs that they get the wear and rust and stuff, so.
yeah.
Yeah, we got enough major projects for this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's
That's very-
the platform I was talking about.
Oh,
There.
yeah. Oh, that does look really nice.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't been out there, you should go out.
No, which one? This is,
This is your.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've had so many figures running through my head.
It wasn't very
And we
expensive.
finished that, I mean, we took that in over winter because that. I just don't remember off the top of my head. I'd be guessing.
Speaking of which, I do have one quick question, just to go back to the parks and the equipment. Last year at this time, they told us that there was some end of the season pricing available. Is there still an option to do that this year?
No, I mean, if you take a look at our contract,
Yes.
and I'd be happy to send that to you. Well, actually, you have it in your inbox right now.
Oh, okay,
I sent each of you
okay,
a copy of what I sent, which included that pricing.
yes,
You'll see the discount that we got. So it's kind of a parlor game.
yeah,
So they offer an early spring discount. Okay, so if you order get a contract in by May 31st.
Yep.
Your goal, okay, and then later on, they offer a fall thing.
yes,
Okay,
right,
well, we got in on the spring thing.
okay,
Okay, so, and we got it extended because we were still talking to two different vendors and trying to get that done, and the one vendor, well, anyway, we decided to go with Burke, the local one, Cottage Grove,
Right.
Lead Enterprises, and yeah, we got a really nice, you can take a look at the discount, but
Just curious.
I think it was 35%, something like that.
And that still puts us over 100.
Yeah,
So,
oh, yeah.
yeah.
But, it basically, the install was 29.
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you look at it without the install, it would have brought the cost from 100 down to 70.
yeah,
Okay, so like that, but with the install, it's back up to 100, so. So that's kind of how that worked.
okay, I got you.
Anything else on this one? Sounds like no. Okay, so moving on to item 10, the fire EMS info. Let me tackle Belleville first, because as of Friday, the village had done what they're calling final edits to the agreements. And I think it actually is final at this point.
Right now.
Okay. So this has been going on for, I don't know, not quite 2 years maybe, but a long time. And about a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half, the village started to get a lot of pressure from residents and from EMS team and fire team, because in the eyes of the residents and the eyes of the actual fire and EMS staff, the village was going too far in what they wanted in the agreement. And which is what the other municipalities are saying too, is going too far. The big three, so the village of Belleville, town of Montrose, town of Exeter are the big three. We're in there at under 2% of the population that's served. Brooklyn is in there at even a little bit less than we are. So in a way, the big three are navigating this negotiation, put it that way. There was a meeting, I want to say it's a week and a half ago, where they hashed out a lot of the details to the point where the big three were happy with it. We weren't involved. I don't think Brooklyn was involved. So we have now two separate agreements, one for EMS and one for fire. It sounded like the towns got most of what they wanted, if not all, more or less reverting to the current agreement, only in reverting if you consider the direction that the village wanted to go. So the village must be okay with it. Montrose is okay with it. Exeter is okay with it. Steve Miller, who's the chair of the commission, he represents Brooklyn. Brooklyn and Oregon don't have a lot of weight in this at all. So I think what we've got in front of us is an agreement that's been given the green light by the big three.
Okay, and it's 2 year.
It's 2 year, 2026 and 2020. And I reached out, it came Friday. It was emailed Friday. So, and I didn't know, I reached out to Ted Fahey at Exeter. I didn't hear from Roger in Montrose, but I did reach out to Steve Miller also. And the answers I got back were Ted said Exeter board put its stamp of approval on it last night. He said the voting rights, the village backed off their demands, and now all partners get 1 vote out of 5, 20% instead of the weighted average that the village
Yeah,
wanted.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's reverting to the original.
Yeah.
More or less. I mean, maybe there's some details in there, I don't know, but more or less it's a continuation of previous contracts, previous agreements. But yes to the 2 year term. And it's not that I don't, I'd be going too far if I said I didn't care about the agreement. I really just care about the withdrawal section. because I think
Mhm.
I'm gonna push for that, I think it makes sense for us to not have if it makes sense for the residents, I think it would make sense for us to not have that overhead of having to administer this fire district that we have 2% of or less. And we had some preliminary discussions, it sounded like, well, very preliminary discussions, it sounded like response time would not be degraded
Mhm.
by us not being in that particular district for the 30 households that I think are there.
Those 30 households, are they covered by Dane County 911? They are.
Yeah, that's why.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying,
Okay.
I don't think
Yes,
there'd be a
this
change.
is part of the problem that
Okay.
we're wrestling with.
Yeah.
About this.
The only concern that I would have is that if there is a consolidation of fire departments or how they are administered, or whatever the consolidation could be, whether it becomes a county-wide system, which we already have with the 911,
Mhm.
and with the training and all the rest of that, are we going to be having something like that? And should we keep our vote in there until this consolidation comes around? That's an only concern. And
I
it's
think that's a long way off.
It's a speculative
Yes.
concern.
Yeah, I think
I think it's a long way off. I think it's gonna navigate that way, but I still think it's a long way off.
Well, then should we stay in there just for,
just for safety, just because we may need that help at some point.
And we don't need to decide now. We obviously
Yeah.
don't need to decide now. And the process for withdrawing involves notice a year before you withdraw. And then there's more to it. It's a fairly complex process.
and there's also a financial problem of paying off our share or something.
Right,
or
or some penalty.
Paying off if we do, or receiving, I think, if
They
we
would
paid in.
less some of
Yeah.
our-
I think it's
our
both sided,
investment.
potentially.
And I don't know.
And I don't know, I think nobody knows except for in theory. I mean, it's written, no, I'm serious, it's written as a theory. And without an idea of how the capital and liabilities stack up. Who's to say? So that would be something we'd have to analyze.
And then who would take over our 3 sections that Belleville has?
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. Well, one of the things that concerned me during the last, I don't know, let's say 6 months or so, when it got kind of heated in these negotiations, was that the village was threatening to more or less pull the plug.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, okay, well, that doesn't give us any control over anything. So I don't want to say today we should get out,
yeah.
but I think we should look at it.
Yes.
Interestingly, on the Oregon Fire EMS side, there always is some talk about, well, we're 60% or 65% or 68%, which is very similar overtones,
To this other
Yes.
one.
very similar,
Yeah.
and I think we just need to be
Aware.
aware of that. We need to
Yes.
be very vigilant about, as we hear that,
Yes.
that we could, especially as it is growing so much more quickly than the rest of the district, that there will continue to be a push for, well, we're already paying 67%, 69%, 73%. And it could feel like deja vu.
Right.
That Belleville is having. So.
I have to say, I want to ask Carl, I could never quite understand what they wanted. They resented the increase in EMS costs, which is statewide, nationwide. Everybody has this problem. And it was kind of like, and I just I wasn't part of this discussion, but every time the new contract came out, I asked at a meeting, could you please, when you come out with a new contract, could you highlight the changes so we can
Yes.
understand what's different?
Yes.
So we could say something helpful or thoughtful about what they were asking for, but it just seemed like it was
Yeah.
was like a brick wall, and I just wondered, did you get any party?
No,
at all?
actually, one of the people that I checked in with yesterday, actually, he said it's tough to know what changed due to the fact that none of the releases are dated or identify the changes from one to the next.
Exactly.
Exactly. There are no red line versions or anything like that.
And I
Yeah,
asked.
and the large municipality is got control of that, of the updated
And they would
documents.
put it
And-
out, and we were supposed to read it and understand what changed.
Right.
And especially if you were joining the rest of your board and you weren't regularly attending. I just thought, I don't understand, I don't even understand what this is all about. I kept thinking if I knew what it was about,
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
I could have some thoughtful response that, try
Yeah.
to move us forward, but it was very frustrating.
And part of the argument from the towns was that, hey, this has worked for decades.
they didn't
This has
understand.
worked forever.
They didn't know what the problem was either. They didn't know what it really was.
I think Belleville is, starting to think like a city.
Yeah.
And I think they have a new, like we do, a new mix of people
Mhm.
in those governing roles. And they're, trying to grow up with the times, and they know over the next 10 years, they're gonna grow by 1,500 households there.
Mhm.
1,500 households.
But it isn't there yet.
But it isn't, and that's exactly right, it isn't there yet. And you never know what the mix of that 1,500 households is either.
Mhm.
And Fitchburg is a great example of that.
Mhm.
They were anticipated to grow by all of these households. The school district made decisions around all those households. They turned into apartment buildings
Mhm.
with no school-age children.
Mhm.
And the district moved ahead and made decisions around the increase in future households.
Right.
And got caught holding the bag. And so I think all those things are driving some of this angst, some of this push and pull. They're trying to manage like a bigger municipality, and they're in between right now.
Mhm.
So I guess I'm recommending that we do approve these two agreements. Because there's really no downside for us. It's status quo, more or less. It's the same, it's really the same agreement that we approved the last time. Does anybody have any questions? I don't know if I can answer them, but then I'd be looking for a motion to approve both the fire and EMS intergovernmental agreements.
Well, I just want to say, this was your suggestion to roll it back to 2 years. So that was some input Carl had that was helpful, very helpful, and that helped move it a little, it helped
Yeah.
move it along. That,
Gave everybody the comfort of it, another kick at the
Yeah.
can within a couple of years.
And there were other people, and I mean, I did say something like that, and I said more or less keep the same terms as the previous agreement. Other people agreed with that too. I mean, not the village,
yeah,
but other people did. So I think it's not just,
that would.
you know, it was the group.
Because it would seem like such a deadlock. That
No, it
there
wasn't.
was no movement at all, and it was very, it was really something. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Carl, thank you for that.
I move approval of these two, EMS and the fire.
Okay, to hear a second?
Second.
4 seconds. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you.
So something that just, so if you guys saw today, there was a notice for Cartsy, and it was that Belleville was going to be taking some land into the urban service district, which basically is the growth that they're planning for.
Yeah.
But something that you might want to consider is that clause in the agreement of the buyback of equipment, of what we put into the district and that we would have. That does come up, and that's where I think that as they grow and as they're going to want equipment and as we have to pay our share, if you're going to want to get out, when would be that time? Because that's where we're going to have to start to think about. But it's also that MOE that we struggle with.
Yes.
So that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
We're not.
And it's almost not worth it, for like. 30
It's that
households.
oversight that the state is putting us under with these joint districts. That's so, you know, as we pay our share and as they want equipment because they're growing and we have all these districts we're tied to that have these growing and they want
All
equipment.
equipment.
Yes, and then if they have to buy it back from us, there needs to be, so it's something I would just say to try to keep tabs on as.
There's just so many reasons to look to consolidation. And, but having been on both Brooklyn's Fire Commission and Oregon now, within those commissions, the anchor in the ground to not do that is still extraordinary. I just think we need to continue, especially considering we don't have our own. We're not Belleville, we're not Brooklyn. We don't have our own stuff. That we need to continue to navigate to some kind of consolidation for training purposes, for equipment purchases, for response time, and the 911 system is a huge step forward.
It is, and it seems like
Yes.
nobody's quite caught up to that
Yes.
yet in looking at these arrangements.
Yes, so I'm hoping that some of these larger municipalities can lead the way in that effort.
Or
It's hard for us to
maybe
do
Dane
it.
County needs some
Yeah.
nudging too, which I think that's probably the place to go next
Yeah. Yeah,
for discussion and like, because it's, any small municipality.
Yeah.
Is gonna struggle
And
and
given
get
that-
worse, probably.
And given this is going on everywhere, I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't just unique to us with
correct,
our partners, this is
correct.
statewide.
Well, and especially up north.
Yes,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Right. Okay, speaking of OFED.
Oh.
You have, is it there?
Page
Yep,
55.
there it is. Okay.
Yeah, the letter.
So just looking at the paper copy, great paper copy. So the, Tim, were you at this meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah,
want
you
to take
and I.
this? So this is
Take
what.
us through this letter.
Yeah, and that would be, well, can I just go?
Go ahead.
What I heard Kent said was, more along the lines of, don't answer every question, just give us an idea of whether you want us to continue the consulting / planning project. That's what I heard.
Mhm.
Is that what you heard more or less? So I think that's, and I want to say Kathy even, I don't remember what Kathy said, from Town of Dunn, but I think she simplified it also, and projected what their answer would be. It would be, yes, either we, we approve the continuation of the planning, and we can't necessarily commit to a dollar amount or even project how much would be available or anything like that. And I don't think that we should commit to any particular dollar amount. It would be good to know if we feel that they should keep going with 7 or 5 bugle.
Wendell. 5 bugles.
So I don't know how specific we need to get in our response, but we should send a response of some kind.
Okay, I would be very much wanting to hear from you on this, but my impression at the last meeting that I was able to join in
Mhm.
is that the planning that Wendell was doing for the fire department was the fire department was running off on their direction, uncoordinated with the village. I did not get a sense that they were coordinated with the planning and growth, traffic, planning, streets, usage.
Just dollar amount.
Yeah,
Just-
and there's absolutely some of that going on.
Mhm.
And it became more clear when the village, in their planning meeting for downtown redevelopment plan, made the decision to sell the village hall property,
Mhm.
to get it back on the tax rolls.
Mhm.
In other words, that property is no longer an option for expansion of the fire station
Oh.
site,
Mhm.
which was a major,
Tenant that
that was a major issue
Mhm.
that the fire commission, it totally took them by surprise.
Okay.
completely
They
took
were
them by
just
surprise.
assuming they
Yes,
have
They
access
would,
to that.
there was an assumption
That
that
would
they
be
would
just-
have access to redevelop that block.
Mhm.
And the village beat them to the punch.
Okay,
They
well,
simply said. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, that's great to
Yeah.
hear.
That's helpful.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
That's
too,
great to hear because they were willy-nilly closing off streets.
Yes,
Right.
there-
And- going-
Redesigning the whole
Downtown?
right,
and I was thinking, oh, we're gonna have all these fire trucks coming out
right,
right in the center of our already terrifyingly dangerous intersection there.
Well, I think we have it that we can't, that they should stop the Wendell.
well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, well, you have.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. So, what has happened to date is that they have put together a want list of the things that they feel are important for the next 30 to 50 years. All right, and includes important things like firefighter safety and health and safety, very important. It included things like the need for some new equipment that requires different access, as you mentioned, drive-through facilities. It includes the need for the need that is being driven by the continuation of moving from a volunteer to a full-time fire, which drives things like dormitory space,
Mhm.
and the simple growth of the district, which is driving a higher employee count, which is driving the need for larger conference rooms, training facilities, locker space, decontamination space. And you throw into the mix, the current facility is significantly smaller than new standards.
Mhm.
You know, it's the old grandfathered in. It is grandfathered in, but if you're going to make changes, here are some of the requirements that we need to rise to.
Mhm.
And so you saw that floor plan. It wasn't based on a specific site, but it takes what is now less than an acre and increases it to almost 3 times that of a footprint for drive-through space, for apron space,
Mhm.
and all of those other needs, training, equipment, decontamination, et cetera. And so I think it's been a valuable effort knowing that we've, you know, the standards have grown significantly, have changed significantly. And you throw on top of that the need for space for something like a new ladder truck, if that's something that they move towards, which is certainly something they are still opting for. What I think has changed over the last 60 to 90 days is that I think the process has shaken out a little bit, wouldn't you say, Carl, to say that there is no way 2028 is on, that we're on track for a 2028.
and that was the village, I mean, that was in this last meeting.
Yes, the
I
village,
think the declaration from the village days or a half a week earlier than the
Yes.
meeting was, we can't
we can't afford to borrow more money.
pay for this, so that kills off the timeline, the original timeline. It puts
Yes.
it way, I don't, Martin really didn't even commit to anything.
He really didn't, but
So he said, if there's a
Really-
policy, he was like, if there's a policy changes, then we can look at it, but he did not commit to any kind of timeline
Right.
for funding this.
so, you know, there's been a change in the commission assignments over the last 90 days. Someone from the village left the village board. And as a result, left their seat on the fire commission. Yes,
So Phil was.
and so Phil took his place on the fire commission.
Okay,
All right, and we have a little bit different role as well. And they hear loud and clear that that we are not prepared for a 2028 anything. that we are happy to talk about, what the needs are of the district, but that we need a longer time horizon to do that, because it's a significant expense. And so I think that we've kind of tapped the brakes. The village has served mightily in that role. They simply have said, we are bumping up against our borrowing limits. And we do not see a light at the end of that tunnel until 2030. That's when we start to see the light. And so, so we can continue with our planning. We are still engaged with the consultant. The consultant, if you recall, we approved as a district $100,000 in spend. That contract is $29,000. I can't believe they continue to work with us for $29,000. It feels like we have spent that months ago.
Yes, they did.
And they said we're about halfway through.
Yeah.
So that was significant to me. And I think they're doing good work, but they
Yeah,
are,
it is good.
but some of
Look good.
an important part of the work is not saying, here's what requires you to have a ladder truck. That is not part of their work
Right.
at all. I think it came to light that their data is historical data only. And so it doesn't take into account the growth we're expecting on the west or south side of Oregon. It takes into account the historical data that says the hotspots are Sienna Crest, Main Street quarters, which is no longer there, and Beehive. And Beehive from an EMS standpoint. And it's also important to know that the fire EMS, because remember, it's all together, is working from an aggregate call perspective. So when they look at heat maps that say, here are the 3 areas where you're getting most of your calls. And if we take those into account, here's where your fire station should be located if you have one fire station. And that location is exactly where it is right now. What's important to note is that they are using aggregated data that includes EMS calls. And EMS calls are almost 80% of the
Of
calls
course they
in
are.
the district. Are you aware of that?
No,
Of course.
It's an
they are.
important distinction.
and then it's under the truck.
Very
with
much.
limits.
Normal, that's part of the course.
It's important that we ferreted out that important data that said, yeah, there's a growth, but 80% of those calls are EMS calls. And those do not drive the need for an aerial, a ladder truck. So, taking all of that into account, today's estimate, based on that floor plan that we all saw, today's estimate is about $12 million.
Oh, I thought it was 14 to 16.
Well, which they said 5 years from now, because we started
Oh,
talking
right.
about 2030,
They flipped it up.
they flipped it up to about $16 million. And then it became clear that that did not include the soft costs, furnishings, the
I don't-
fixtures,
Doesn't include property purchase either.
or property purchase.
That's
That's
nonsense.
the restart.
And again, if we can't use the space downtown where the current fire station is, and the village isn't throwing in the old village hall, they're gonna have to go out and buy
Yes.
property.
Mhm.
So it doesn't take that 16 million isn't taken into account, nor are the furnishings, fixtures, the soft cost, nor is a new ladder truck.
Right.
And so we went from 12 to 16 to 18 with soft costs
Mhm.
Oh, you're lucky to get by with that.
to 2 more million for a truck. So now we're at 20
But I
Plus the
think
land.
even,
plus the land. Now, you do have some residual value of the current land. If you don't decide on a 2 fire station model.
wow.
We've been looking at a single fire station model. There may be an interest in looking at a 2-station model, especially considering 80% of the calls are EMS calls. And so what that could lead us to is, the commission or the district continues to look at, so what do we do next? Can we do anything in the next 5 years, not in anticipation of 5 years out, but in the next 5 years? And that is when this whole issue of firefighter health and safety rose to the top. We need to do better at decontamination and
Physical space.
physical
yeah.
space. And so there may be a half step in here where there's a cost to that.
Yeah.
And that cost, there's no dollar amount set to that cost
Right.
at all.
That's the same vibe that I got coming out of the meeting, was that it was, okay, let's continue the planning and
Yes.
consulting, but
Yeah.
here's really the primary focus is staff safety
Yeah.
and health. you know,
Right.
All combined.
And can we solve some of our space issues with this half step?
Yeah.
Can we solve some of it? And do better with health and safety? So I think there is going to be an expense. I think there is going to be a shared expense out there over the next 3 to 5 years that isn't part of a new fire station.
Right.
But it may be a start to a future fire station. They, you know, I could see a satellite location for hypothetically rescue squad and a ladder truck. You know, a 2-bay facility that supports, you know, the near future hotspots of activity that is not at the current facility, but maybe identifies the right location for a future facility, puts up a little satellite facility, and has enough space to grow into a new facility when the time comes. And that could be 2030 to 2032. The lead time on a truck is 3 years plus. The lead time on a facility is at least that. And if they don't start looking at that by 2028, 2029 with, you know, referenda or, you know, some other decision-making process, we won't see anything go up until after 2030 or 2032.
And we don't know what the future thinking of, when we talk about the consolidation,
Yes, right.
what that will look like.
All that's in a vacuum, right? All this discussion is in a vacuum.
And we don't know if the EMS and fire is going to separate or
Right,
be more one. either.
yes.
Right. There are so many unknowns.
There's
that are
so many
impacting this
unknowns.
Discussion, like more than any project kind of discussion, there are just so many things that are in play.
Yeah.
And that I don't know how we get beyond, like when we respond to this, how we get beyond saying, yes, we'd like the planning to continue.
Yeah,
And yes, we're open to participating in remodeling or whatever it is for decontamination or safety facilities or whatever. I don't know how we go beyond that, or if we should go beyond that, because even in the meeting, I said at some point they were talking about more the financial aspect of this letter, and it seemed way premature to me
right.
to even be talking about dollar amounts when we have no requested budget.
Right,
No idea what's gonna shake out as far as the actual plan itself.
right.
How come?
No site,
No, nothing.
not even a site
No, there's nothing.
identified. And so,
I don't know if, you know how the village is like very near their budget cap. Most of the towns are not, because we have ridiculous budget caps, and I think Kathy may have mentioned that too. You know, millions of dollars worth, but we're not chipping in 20 million to this project.
right,
When we have 24% or 25% of the population, we're not doing that.
right.
So I don't know if they were looking for something like that or not. I hope not, because that's not reasonable.
Well, I think a great option, frankly, would be to look to make a step towards a consolidated model
Mhm.
with half of the picture. So let's just focus on EMS.
Mhm.
Seems to be That's where 80% of the calls are today.
It's where the Belleville issue is.
Yes, why don't we look at a consolidated, a Dane County 911 consolidation model for EMS across the county? And if we do that and we pull EMS out of these fire stations and free up some space for health and safety issues, for equipment issues, whatever the case may be, and let us get started on that momentum of consolidation with half the model that frankly is costing us the most.
Yes.
Can't we do that?
Mr. Frankson.
I agree with the EMS 80%. I mean, despite news reports, there are very few building fires anymore. I mean, it's gone way, way down. The only thing I'd say to the statistics, though, is that it's very typical and standard procedure when EMS goes out to a call that a fire engine goes out with it.
The village has changed that though.
Okay, but
They made
and
a conscious decision.
that
almost
may
2
be
years
true,
ago.
but still in a lot of other municipalities.
Yes, I
It is
agree.
still the case that even if you said you wanted to separate them or you wanted to just have a global EMS thing, that there's still every single EMS
Does
call.
not do that anymore.
Okay,
They do not do that anymore.
Okay.
For that reason. It's just,
Madison does, City of Madison does,
I think they do.
yeah, and I think most of the other satellite cities around Madison.
I think there is some union negotiations that require some of that, especially in the city
Yeah,
of
it's
Madison.
possible, it's possible.
So that's a labor negotiation issue more than a safety issue. It's a labor negotiation issue is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
So-
I can't imagine that's true in every single one of these cities.
It isn't.
I'm guessing
But I
there's
think
some
they-
standard
they-
protocol that was enacted at some time that said,
Yeah.
we need to provide help and support for EMS and we're
Sure.
gonna send another, and we gotta get the trucks out anyway because we're not attending to any fires, and if we don't use them, it's probably bad for the trucks, and so the part of the thing of keeping the trucks in operating condition, keeping the fluids through the engine, the cooling systems, all of that stuff, making sure the hydraulics work on it. I mean, I'm sure that's all part of it, saying we need to run at least this much every month. So in order to do that, we're going out on the EMS calls.
Sure.
So-
But I know that Oregon does not do that any longer. And one other point I want to make is that one thing that has come to light as well is that, as you said, there are less fires. There is a whole effort in place. There's a standard effort in place to identify where your risks are from a fire perspective, not a fire EMS perspective, from a fire perspective. That it's about education, it's about, getting sprinkled, buildings. It's about a number of different things. And it starts with an assessment
Right.
as to what your fire calls look like. Where's the commonality? And can we do something that isn't buying new equipment or hiring more people to bring down the risk of those fire calls?
Sort of like brushing your teeth,
It's sort of like brushing your teeth.
versus not, and then going to the dentist.
And I think that's another thing that I think we ought to bring to the table to say, we would like to push toward getting that assessment done, that risk assessment done, to better understand where are our greater risks. Are there things that we can be doing in the community to bring down that risk without buying more equipment, without hiring more people, without sending a fire truck out with every rescue squad? I don't think that's a huge investment. It surprises me we haven't done that assessment.
Arlen, did you have something to?
Yeah, as part of this discussion here, I was looking at this letter on page 55. Paragraph 2 says, please, would you please provide your response to the commission by August 15th? So that's Thursday.
Mhm.
And I was, so
Right.
hearing a number of things here. I don't know what it is that, it seemed like they were looking for some kind of dollar commitment.
Yeah, we're not gonna
We're
do
not
that.
doing that. Yeah.
Good.
And actually,
But are we going to respond? Do we need to respond or just say, this is nuts? We've got things, we've got more things to figure out and suggestions.
I think I might defer to Tim to actually write a response.
Mhm.
And I think it could be as short as bullet points.
Yes, and I think we should think of the three most important ones.
And I think that our answer should be what we want our answer to be and not what they're asking here.
Yes.
Because even in the meeting, I said, I don't remember what I said, but it wasn't just me, but other people like we can't answer this,
Yeah.
can't answer this now.
Correct.
But we can say, yes, we'd like the research to continue.
Yes.
And yes, we'd like to prioritize staff safety and health.
Yeah.
And maybe that's it.
Well, but
All the
you,
other things we're talking about here are, I think, not gonna be like the project, like focusing on EMS and the other types of things that we just talked about for the last 20 minutes. That's not gonna necessarily fit with the response to this letter, but I think it's future discussions with OFED.
but shouldn't that be included in there?
It could be, well, I think so.
This was the most refreshing thing and insightful thing that I've
Yeah.
heard on the
Yeah.
fire issue in a long time.
It could be, if, I mean, I'm open to that, I just don't know that we need to go into tons of detail there.
No.
You say, yes, there should be discussions about this also.
Yeah.
It's not just trying to find a site for a building that may not have to be built, or renovated.
But if you're going ahead with planning, this is the time for the
That's
bullet
the
point
kind of
to be
plan.
having, what is the assessment
Hmm.
as to where the hotspots are in the need
Mhm.
and what kind of need are we doing?
Yes.
How about would you mind doing a draft
Sure.
and then send to Jennifer so she can send out to us, we like keep the meeting kosher?
Yeah.
And
I'm also
then,
gonna say something.
feedback edits to Jennifer. Is that okay, Jennifer?
Yep.
Work for you?
The other thing I'm gonna bring up is blending the historical data with some projected data.
Future.
Yeah.
Future projected data, because that's another thing the consultant said, we can't do that.
Right.
Mhm. But it seems like the whole point of what they're doing is.
I
to kind of do-
Planning, looking forward.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but.
but they have literally said over and over, yeah, we can't do that. The GIS data, which is where the hotspots come from, they're like, well, can you project with growth in the community, how that could evolve? And then, yeah, we can't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
There are companies that can do that, and we may need to look outside
Yeah.
of the historical data company we're working
It's
with.
risky. I imagine it's very risky.
Sure,
Like.
but they do it for school
you're giving
districts.
A good example with the. school
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which,
Population predictions, yeah. Just as a side thing that I cannot believe that was ever considered is knocking down some of that intersection, the buildings in that area. They were talking about, knocking down the block that's got Firefly and a couple retail places.
Yeah.
Like, that's really the one charming part of.
Right down.
So, yeah, and why would you, and I know that the block with Firefly is newer buildings and not, it's not like across the
Not
street,
historic.
but still.
Maybe they could buy the town hall and have Firefly there.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
They
You know
have
what I mean?
taken that off, but the village is clear that they've taken that off as an option. They want that property back on the tax roll.
Mm.
No, I meant Firefly.
no,
Oh, fire,
Firefly could move to the town hall.
sure.
The grocery store,
Yeah. That's just a side thing.
There was just.
So I do think as well that we need to continue the effort of identifying optimal locations for future state.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally agree.
That sounds very cooperative
Yes,
as well, like
yes.
we wanna participate in planning. We're on board with the need.
And we support the move to make working there safer.
Right, cool,
Which I
absolutely.
think those are two positive things.
They didn't say anything about letter trip
No.
and not say anything.
No. Okay, anything else on that? And Tim, I don't know that we need to.
Well, We're not.
honor the deadline of the 15th. If we can get this to that.
Yeah, I think they used the 15th. I can tell you from being in the meeting that was focused on preparing for that meeting on the 30th.
Okay.
They just took a quick poll on when everyone's
Oh.
next board meeting
Okay.
was. They wanted to capture that information when it was fresh,
Got it.
and they wanted some time to respond to it
Mm.
by the next district meeting.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so in a week or so, we
Yeah.
can pass this back.
so I'm gonna make a couple of statements, like, yes, we'd like to continue the research. Yes, we'd like to prioritize firefighter safety for the relative near term. And then maybe 3 bullet points that say, and here are 3 things that we have more questions about.
Mhm.
And those are blending historical data with projection data, continuing to pursue an optimal location for a future fire station. And then one more thing. Does anything come to anybody's? One more thing that's important, timeline, a realistic timeline, or maybe we don't wanna,
I
no,
wouldn't touch timelines.
all right.
If you can.
Anything else? Third one.
I think of-
You mentioned consolidation, I don't know if that's.
Oh,
something-
consolidation, yes, yes, yes,
I think that's a very good thing to look at, because that really carves out a really big problem
yeah,
that everybody's gonna have.
yeah.
Yeah.
And being a leader in that effort in some way, being a
Right.
leader in that effort to, work with the, contiguous municipalities, or whether that be, working with the county to separate EMS from fire so that we can use the 911 system the way it was designed. So I'll just use consolidation and then I'll,
Something about coordinating with Dane County, or is that too radical?
I think, let's use it as a question. Let's use it as a question. Coordinate with
Yeah,
Dane
yeah,
County
yeah,
to
Yeah,
consolidate.
no, and you decided not to say that question number 3, which seemed kind of intrusive to me a little bit, about
Oh, I have.
asking about our budgetary constraints.
Yeah,
Do
we're
we
not,
wanna touch on that at all?
No.
no,
No.
we don't have enough information to respond.
I agree with that. What about saying that? Or is that a little snarky?
I'm just leaving it out.
No, you leave it all right there.
So
It's,
Jennifer put in this packet some information. There's a lot of information in this packet around data, okay? Around what would that mean if we spent not the 12, not the 16, not the 18, but the 20 million? Let's just focus on 16 for a minute. If we focus on 16, there is one, see this vehicle purchase page? This is page 56.
Yeah.
This just gives you, the reason I pull this out is because it tells you what percent of the fire EMS district we are
Yes.
in terms
Yep.
of expense.
Yep.
All right. So we are about
a fourth.
18%. Okay.
Mhm.
If we spend, and Jennifer put this example in the packet, if we spent $16 million and we were 18% of that, and we could finance that out for 20 years at current interest rates, it would cost this township about $255,000 a year.
Mhm.
Crazy.
That's 16 million, not 20. And that's,
And we know it's gonna
Not
be
25.
more than 20.
we know it's going to be. We know it's going to be. So 20 is 25% more than that.
Yeah.
25% more of $250,000. It's another about 80,000, about 70,000. Wait, what is it? It's about $60,000. So it'd be over $300,000 added to our budget to get to 20 million. And that's just our
And
share,
that's over a 20-year loan.
20-year loan, which is the longest we can borrow for
Yep.
currently. So
That's a.
I just wanted people to, and so that's in this packet. I just want people to get and Jennifer wanted to make sure people had a sense of, here it is right here, trust fund calculator sample plan. That is based on 18% of $16 million, which is about 3 million. It's about $3 million for 20 years at 5.5% is $253,000 a year. That's what the amortization schedule looks like. That's a huge chunk for us.
Yeah, and 20 sounds good, and it's good, more likely to be 25.
Yeah, but we can't borrow that
We
money.
can't borrow that from the
Yeah.
Bureau of Public Lands. We can't do it from there.
So we'd have to start looking for other financing.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's
We're
the-
cheap at 20 years.
20 years, the
Yeah.
Bureau of
Okay.
Public
Yeah.
Lands.
Okay.
You meant 25.
that which is 20 years, but I mean,
Yeah.
as far as the base, the principal, I think we're gonna be very lucky to be at the
Yeah.
3 million. And it could very well be double that.
Right,
Yeah,
so
that's-
I think Arlen, that, what I was saying to Tim earlier was like, that factors into how we borrow for our roads. Like, we would have to look at that.
Yeah.
We'd have to borrow, like, we're gonna have.
We'd have to stretch those roads
Yeah.
out. We're
Yeah.
currently borrowing for.
Like 3 or 4
3 or
years,
4
yeah,
We'd
to
have
make,
to look at 10 years
Yeah.
to soften the blow of this.
Mhm. I mean, really, it's a non-starter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the
We're not gonna
moment,
do that. We're
yeah.
never, ever gonna do that.
Yeah.
It's too much.
So the other thing that I think we need to consider, and it's not on the agenda, and so I just want to put it, we don't have to talk about it, but I just want to put it out there. That we have talked about this town center thing for a while, and the village's need for some property in this area. We have some time over the next several years to make a decision and to pull the trigger on something like that. If we choose to continue to talk about it, because if we don't, and we hit 2030, we are going to be deep in the middle of this.
Mhm.
It'll be 10 years from now before we can consider
Mhm.
that conversation again.
And we can cover that next month.
Yeah, but just,
Because we're gonna fold in some of the
Survey.
vision survey response.
yes. So we just need to take that
So we'll get
into
that.
account.
Yeah.
And we need to remember that when we buy temporary buildings and
Yeah.
make improvements on this site.
Yeah.
Et cetera.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was kind of funny because when we were at the Rutland meeting, they talked about this letter. And there's, and I'm paraphrasing in a big way, but they're like, oh, that's not so bad, because they were talking about the debt. But their percentage of the district is like
Yeah.
4%. We were like, multiply that by 5,
yeah.
and that's us.
Exactly.
Way too much.
So there's been there has been in those conversations, I can tell you, there's been a push
Mhm.
by some of the municipalities to get this fire station going. Well, it's easy to push when you're paying 4% of the
Yeah.
pie,
Right.
in my opinion.
Right.
When you're paying $253,000 a year that isn't in your budget today, and doing that for 20 years, it's a different
That's a lot.
case.
That's not fair of us to burden the future.
So I'll put that draft together. I'll get it to Jennifer.
Good.
She can wordsmith it and.
Okay, let's put a bow on this one and move on to the next.
Just wanted to say, page 58, because Lori will ask, page 58 is just, I showed this to you before, that's our max that we can borrow. Oh, that's always when it's,
Oh, right.
and nobody cares, because it's beyond where, yeah, it's so high.
much. that-
And then, page 60 is, right now, we still are paying that Brooklyn building on page 60. So that's what our Board of Commission Public Lands, that's our, it's 2035 when we'd be done paying that off.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, that's just $12,000. So that building was not very expensive. So
What building is that?
that's the Brooklyn Fire EMS building.
That's our share.
That's
That's our share.
That's our share.
Share.
Yeah, that's our share of that building.
Wow.
Not very much. It's 3.5. So,
Yeah.
and I asked Richard and he said, I said, would we lump, and he said, no, we just leave it paid off. We
Just
wouldn't
do it.
roll it
Just
into any kind of new loan. So,
So the 160 was our share in
yes, that
In-
when we.
18.
Yeah, when we refinanced that for that time, so. And then the rest of it was just kind of levy, because I just wanted to show you guys, hey, this. When we, right now we're at 386, that's what we borrow. You're gonna be doubling that if you were to add something like that. It would definitely be a big impact, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the torque report. I think I didn't miss anything. And the update in there already. Where's?
That's on page 72.
Well, I guess. Hold on, get there. My main concern, I guess, is the fire management
Yes.
part of
The fire
everything. And did we get back to the DNR within whatever the time frame was? Do we know?
Emailed me, Dan Mortar emailed me,
Yep.
and I emailed him back, and then I almost thinking he left on vacation.
Oh.
Because he hasn't gotten back to me
Yeah,
yet.
that
Okay.
Yeah.
sounds reasonable.
Yeah, so he said, hey, you know, like, did you want to ask for these? And I said, yes, I do. And then I haven't heard from him, so I think he
Oh.
must have left on vacation.
Okay. All right, well, I guess.
So we've been in communication.
Okay, so we'll wait for him.
Yeah.
One of my own, and this is not a big deal, maybe I'm just off on this, but I know that he said something about using sand
Mhm.
to smother the fires, and we're using dirt. And I don't know if that's equivalent or that's acceptable to the DNR, so that's one thing I'd want to find out. And again, maybe it's,
But
maybe,
Able would know that, I'm sure. But I mean, we can
Well,
certainly ask.
yeah,
Okay.
I think it'll come back.
But-
That all came up because we have no water source.
Oh, I
That's the only thing we can
Right.
do.
Right.
That's the only thing we can do to put those fires out well.
Yep.
And this is a practice that the Dan suggested to us is not uncommon around the state.
Right.
That these burning brush
Pit.
pits, that getting those fires to stay out is very difficult.
Mhm.
And then you can have, you know, the ashes remain very hot. And so, and I think this is kind of like new information to us that those had to be
Right.
extinguished totally
Oh, I
while
gotcha.
while an attendant was there, because
Yeah.
they did that for years. This torque has had this life over 35 years or something of, you know, being this kind of I don't know what the right word would be, but the practices that they had were that
Mhm.
everything's changed and the
Mhm.
rules have become more specific and stringent, and so this was never an issue anyone knew about.
Yeah,
Right.
And then something happened, there's some notes that Sheldon provided on page 73, where he talked about, here's what we're doing.
yeah,
So this was something Dan, I think, suggested, let the brush dry out for an extra week before we try to burn
so it burns faster and hotter.
it. Start the fire early in the day so that but that's a problem because the smoke from the fire, depending on the wind direction, is awful on the workers
Yeah.
and the people using
Sure.
the torque.
Mhm.
So we had developed a procedure in past, like the last 10 years, I think, of waiting till later on Saturday or then coming in during the week, and sometimes Abel and Ryan burn, or sometimes one of the torque staff go and burn. But anyway, that's a new thing. But they're trying to make sure that someone is there to put it out. It's totally. Then this is totally. I'm just bringing this up. I don't know the answer to this. Sheldon decided to call the fire department Saturday morning and tell them that we were burning.
Mhm.
And they told him that we need to apply for a burn permit every time we burn down there. Yeah. And so Sheldon, and so he got the fire, whoever he talked to, the fire department, to fill it out for him online.
Oh, right.
Because he didn't have access to a, computer to do this. So and Sheldon, it doesn't mind doing that. He says, then the fire department will know we are burning. So if somebody drives by and sees smoke and calls
Yeah,
the fire department. But I don't know, I guess that must be true, but we never, ever knew we needed to do that.
I don't know that
Ever.
we need to
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
but
There's
It
gotta be a
doesn't
way to
hurt. I
get a
mean-
blanket
Doesn't hurt.
permit of some kind.
Well,
There's
that's
a
what I'm
facility
saying. We
that's
need to
been-
find out if there's some blanket permit or
Sure.
some way we can fast track that so we don't have to apply.
Yeah.
Part of the problem being, you don't even know from day to day whether you can't plan ahead
sure.
because of the wind and so forth.
I think if we just had a standing order for Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
maybe.
There should be a way. I can talk to them when I'm at the next commission meeting. If
I'm
that,
starting to wonder if it wouldn't be nice to have another chat with Chief Linsmeyer about the whole issue. Because another thing that's come around in some discussions I've been hearing around in the town of Rutland, I've heard from a source who shall remain anonymous, but they encourage their residents to burn their brush themselves.
Mm.
I can't believe that Fire Chief Linsmeyer thinks that's a good idea.
yeah.
No, I think the recommendation was to get a permit. If you were gonna.
Or bring it to their facility,
But they-
so they come and burn it.
Yeah,
Because that changed in, well. Okay, I don't know how many years I'm going back, but I swear that there was some kind of letter or something from OFED saying, hey. Permits are, I don't know if it said required, but
yeah.
please get a permit when you burn your
Yeah.
leaves in your backyard.
I don't think residents, I'm sure their residents would much rather just drop it off and not have to tend their own fire, which would have to be extinguished completely before they left for dinner on Saturday evening. No, I'm just exaggerating here, but. So then,
Or they could compost their
yeah,
organic.
yeah, they can do that too.
We do.
Sheldon also texts Abel whenever he knows we were burning, even on Saturday. In case, and then this is written in Sheldon, in case Dane County Sheriff's Department calls him about a fire observed at Torque.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then the last item on page 73 that's come up is, and Abel participated in this discussion. They are gonna need to move those ashes more frequently than they've been
Yeah.
doing. So there was talk of building a second bunker next to the burn pit, which the Torque staff could even build, or, you know, the guys.
Mhm.
That's Brian and Abel. And then they'd have a place to stage ashes, and maybe they could spread them out and they'd cool, you know, they'd have a thin layer that they could grab.
Mhm.
Then they would have that ready to take somewhere and get it out of there. So
And that's where we'd need a waiver
yeah,
to
yeah,
offload the ashes to wherever they would go, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't
and-
that part of the
yeah,
discussion?
yeah, and that's all to be worked out with Dan when we get in
Right.
touch with him.
Right.
But they have been taking it all seriously, and they've also, they're making signs. They wanted us to put a sign on each area that designates, here's where you put batteries, here's where you put metal. They're working on putting the signs together. They're making handmade signs right now, but I think we could get somebody to make a more permanent sign. So
Sure.
they're doing that. They'll have those up on Saturday, the handmade ones.
Mhm.
So they're taking care of all that. This waiver to burn brush under 6 inches. That's the one that's one of those catch-22 kinds of rules that, so, and I mean, are you supposed to go through if someone brings some brush and pull out the ones under 6 inches?
We just get the permit.
Yeah, we can get a waiver to do that.
Sure.
And Dan Werner also told us that the DNR has not revised its rules on recycling centers since 2006. So
Okay.
it's due for an upgrade.
Mhm.
And these are well-known issues that are problematic, the 6-inch sticks thing.
Mhm.
And he didn't say this for sure, but seemed to think in the meantime, you can finesse it by getting this waiver.
Got it.
And then we'll be copacetic.
Mhm. Mhm.
But in putting out logs, putting fire logs out, you just don't do that at night.
Yeah.
Mm.
You do that the next day or two.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have we ever considered getting a water source out there?
I was just gonna
Just
say,
digging a well?
I was afraid to say it.
What is it?
It's been discussed at different times and immediately ruled out as too expensive.
I-
And too complicated.
We burn one thing down now, and we've spent that money.
Yeah, exactly. It depend, I mean, expensive is relative, right? If we really want to keep the torque running, if we really want to comply with whatever regulations there are, it sounds like we need water. And maybe, I don't know the quality of the water underneath the torque.
It almost doesn't matter if we
Mm.
mark
But
it
if
as
That's what,
Potable.
yeah, that's what I mean, it wouldn't be,
Just-
it wouldn't be drinking water.
Just sign it as non-potable and
And I really, I'm totally guessing at the cost of a well, but I think it's probably 15 to 20.
I don't know this, was it at one point, was there garbage actually there? Was it a site where there was?
landfill.
Yeah,
Yes,
Oh, I don't.
yeah,
Probably.
I believe so.
But again, if we mark it as, if we sign it as non-potable and just use it as a water source for fire prevention.
It shouldn't matter.
I mean, that was what we were otherwise getting, at least a tank. That was at least in the time being, a tank of water, something that, at least something
Yeah.
in the short term. And we don't have a tank of water. We've borrowed from fire departments before for projects, but we don't have that
Right.
even.
What
And
kind
that
of
would be
water?
the
Oh,
bare
we're
minimum.
getting into weird details here, but what kind of water pressure comes out of a tank?
I have I don't have a clue.
You would need a pump in a well, wouldn't you?
Well,
Or just a pump on the tank,
Pump on the
like
tank.
a high pressure, high velocity or whatever.
But I like Tim's idea better.
Just a what?
I like Tim's idea better.
Just drilling a
Yeah.
non-potable well.
We could ask Everson or somebody like that for a
For,
quote.
for.
Somebody, yeah. I bet you it's not that much, and I bet you we could find a way to buy it.
There's
Guessing.
That'd be worth looking into.
one other option.
Yeah.
My wife's family owns a campground and they actually bought a pumper truck, a fire truck.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That they use, now they use it primarily for just watering vegetation and trees and things like that, but they also have it there in case there was a fire.
Sure.
So they're fairly, once they're past their useful dates or whatever, and maybe they'd only have, these numbers don't mean anything, 80 pounds of pressure versus 100 because the seals aren't great.
Sure.
They basically sell it,
Or scrap, practically scrap. just to get
practically
it-
scrap, and if that's something that would easily solve this problem, and you could arrange to go in, for instance, with Chief Linsmeyer to fill up at a hydrant and drive it out and just keep it out there. And you just have to have the engine running to have the pumps work and you spray it,
Right.
then you wouldn't have to dig a well. Just an idea, a thought.
Mhm.
Landscaping. Sure.
Mhm.
So there's interest in looking into water source options. Okay,
And Jennifer, did you say that you'd be willing to contact Everson? If that's-
Yeah, I can
if that's
contact
right.
Everson and ask him if they can give us a price.
Okay.
Do you need, when you put in the plantings over at Storytown Cemetery, would you need, that's when we've used it before, like when we did or not we, but like when the park did the butterfly garden, they got a tanker truck to water. Are you going to need a source of water when you put in the plantings at Storytown Cemetery?
We're only talking about possibly one. And we haven't decided what we're gonna put in. We just decided we're pulling the shrub on the east side of the cemetery sign marker.
Okay,
So no decisions have been made about that.
so I mean, that's what we're
Are
trying
you
to,
talking about the hill that we're reading?
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes, and so we were thinking.
we're not,
If we had this tanker with water, that it might be useful for other things like plantings, is how we used it
Yeah.
prior.
right, these are all perennial prairie plants that are going in there, so as a general rule, you shouldn't have to water them.
Okay, so you wouldn't need it, okay. I can call Everson, yes.
There's a 500-gallon water tank trailer. A trailer that we can haul with one of with our 550.
Mhm.
that came up.
How much? $6,500.
That was an option that I believe came up in our discussion.
And that has its own pump on it. So
I think it's possible, something reasonable we can meet.
yeah, and if we don't have to get something with a motor, so we don't have to keep it
Right.
fixed,
Well,
you know,
that's the thing. I mean,
drive it out there.
Right.
You could just pull out there.
yeah.
And
I'd
fill
be
it up
interested to see
here.
what a pump and a well
Sure,
costs.
yeah, me too.
Because that to me seems like the easiest thing. It's always there. You don't have
Well,
to, you have to fill it
It's
up.
always there, but it's out in the middle of, no, you don't have a pressure tank that's in a warm spot. You have something
Right.
that's your water is going, the water, there has a water tank
Right.
that can freeze up, and so I'd be cautious about relying on a well that's gonna be needing maintenance.
Yeah.
And survive the winter.
Right. But, yeah, and we should definitely compare and contrast.
So can you keep something like that inside one of the sheds and it would stay? Or would you have to have it?
A water tank like that?
Yeah, or would you have to have it heated?
Yeah, you'd have to have it during the winter, you'd have to,
Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to have it emptied.
Okay.
And then when you use it, take it
Okay.
out there.
Anything else on torque?
No, I think that summarizes it.
Okay, that's something. Item number 12, just a quick thing, vision survey, did you all get a copy of the final report? I hope.
I think we just got that, right?
You got it. There's an email. If you want a printed copy, I can absolutely get you one. Just let me know and I will print it and have it available for you to pick up or,
I'd take one of those.
okay.
And then we have our next meeting is tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to, this is with the vision survey group, and then also the UW extension person that we're working with. So we're just gonna go through the results and the write-up.
When is that?
Well, we have something tomorrow, not the board,
Oh,
just the vision committee.
okay.
With the person we're working with from the
Okay.
extension.
Got it.
So and there's a schedule, I think it's accurate on page 90 and on. And then we're getting into
Yes, I see it.
prepping for the bigger meeting in September
Yes, and I know I have that. on-
with committee members and commission members and staff and the board. So that's all for right now. We'll have more as we go on throughout August. It's like building inspection report that's in the packets. So.
Being on a roofs.
Yes. Night, Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Good night.
See you, Dave.
Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for everything you do.
Yeah.
Number 14, assessor report. Well, this is a fun couple of days.
Yes, it's a lot.
It was a little chaotic in here. Monday, and you said not as much today, but still steady.
So I was here today and this morning about 8:30 or so. And the room was starting to fill up. But to have 3 people here was a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
And that made people feel more heard, I think.
Yeah. Good. Monday it was 2.
Oh, it was. Yeah. Well,
Somebody was absent.
okay.
So it
Well,
was
I sat down with somebody, and kind of went through my, just so I was clear about how they arrived at things and, talked through a few things. They made an adjustment and I think it went very well. I was probably sitting for 10 minutes,
that's not bad at all.
maybe 15 at the most. I thought it went very well and they were very professional and,
Good.
we were not far from the 2 other people who were meeting. And I felt it was private
okay.
and that people were getting, their questions answered.
Good.
Nobody was being, shushed away.
Good. Was it of the 3 today? Was it the same 2 from yesterday? Or
It was
different?
not, one from yesterday and then 2 new ones, so.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And Jennifer and Stephanie were handling a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
People who just didn't know
Yeah.
what was going on or how the process, how the open book process was supposed to work.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because all that information was out there.
Sure.
Starting in, I think June was when we first started to post that type of stuff. And again, end of July. And I think part of it was maybe that people didn't have enough time to process once they received it in the mail.
Yes.
Friday, probably.
Yeah.
And having to figure out what to do about
Yeah.
attending an open book either Monday or Tuesday. And some some unreasonable, like, oh, I don't want to call, or I don't want to go online and do what I could do in person. Some of it was unreasonable, but some's legit.
I think the mail is just, if that's the really difficult part, is
Yeah.
how slow the mail is.
Yes.
And we're just not accommodating for it. And I think, some of that is just, some of that's accurate, because I was getting called Wednesday from people that were not in Oregon, that were in different parts.
They got their mail a day earlier.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it was, you knew that the mail was
Yeah.
getting different places at different times.
Yeah.
So, they mailed the letters in July, but they're not arriving. So, I mean,
Right.
there's that little bit of a disconnect as well. So it's just, and when we signed that contract with them, I really had wanted us to be pushed. So we would be, earlier in the year.
Mhm.
It's Accurate is one of the last assessing firms in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We do not have many options.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
they do a nice job, but they, as everyone else, are, they do the best that they can, but we are a small municipality. This is where we fit in their,
They
yeah.
tell us when they can come out here.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of it, and so we are. But to that point, we have that in your packet, you have that, that equalized value, which is, and so when they do the MAR, it's at the beginning of the year, it's in April.
Mhm.
They account for the fact that we're gonna have, this reevaluation, and they did account for it.
Mhm.
I was nervous because I want to make sure, because we have a very short window where we can, look at that number and we can ask them to change it. Because when I say them, I mean the Department of Revenue.
Mhm.
And so the Department of Revenue also knows we're going into a reevaluation year. So because otherwise they're going to keep bringing our value up, because the whole idea is that we are paying in as an equal share to our village and all of into our taxing jurisdictions. Everything looked okay. You guys saw the email and you
Yep.
did it, so we're all good. Okay,
Oh, that was a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you just answered it there, that us and all our neighbors, for instance, the school district, we've all been reassessed, and so we should be somewhat compatible.
As far as freshness of data,
Yeah.
is that what you mean?
Yeah.
so every year, the Department of Revenue equalizes us so that we're all paying in. The idea would be that we're all paying it equally, right? So that's what the Department of Revenue does. But we're all not reassessed on the same schedule, because we're all different, all municipalities reassess.
We're every 5 years, the
Yeah.
village is every other year.
Every year. or
Exactly.
Every year now, I think. so.
Exactly, but as I would explain it, when the Department of Revenue equalizes it, it hits everyone equally. And so what happens is they say, no, you actually have to go look at houses, because property values don't affect everyone equally. Some go up a little bit higher than others. Everyone appreciates, but some appreciate a little bit more than others. So in our township, I would use, for lack of a better, Fahey Heights and say Raven Oaks. A house in Fahey Heights is going to appreciate, but it may not appreciate as much as a house in Raven Oaks. Just kind of the way it is. So in 2020, when we saw that last reval, you actually saw people in Fahey Heights paying less on their property taxes than someone in Raven Oaks, for example. Because equalized value, it hit everyone equally. But when they actually got reassessed, their property values did not go up as much as someone else in a different part of the township. So that's kind of how this equalized value works. And then when you actually get your assessment. So it's getting everyone up, but it's also saying, hey, we all need to be treated fairly.
Mhm.
And then it's because we're all being treated fairly, because we all have to pay into the taxing, into your taxing jurisdictions fairly. We all have to pay a fair share.
Mhm.
So,
One thing we should consider is whether 5 years is the right gap. And I think it's probably not, because the number shocked people.
It has been a
Yeah,
very
it was a shock.
unique, it has been a very unique 5 years.
It has been.
Right.
Totally
Like-
agree.
like-
The market in general and the housing costs.
Like a 100-year rain, it
Mhm.
was, woo, it was the year we got a 100-year rain.
Right. But I think the decision would hinge on, okay, what will it cost us to do more frequent revals? And what do they cost per year? You know,
See,
we don't,
we pay the same amount every year. So,
There's
and they
Even though
built
we
it,
only reval every
right,
5 years.
exactly. So they build it in, they build it in. They
Oh,
build it
okay.
into our
So
costs,
it's-
that it's just, then that's easier for us to budget. So we can have
Oh, I
one
see.
number that we
It's like the
budget.
power company.
right,
They
right,
flatline your.
yeah.
Yeah, so if we
Well,
were to redo it, we just have to say, hey, what would it cost more if we wanted to, and then we
Right.
build that into our.
I think we should find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Because-
you would have to say, I know that Dane County, this was the year that it didn't go up as high as it did previous years, but I worked here a long time. And that's true, it's, but somebody who would say, I'm not paying attention to housing prices,
Right,
that it's.
Yeah.
but then they pay attention when it's 50%, 55, 56% higher.
59%.
Oh,
Mhm.
56 for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
And when I got that, I was like,
Close to 60.
And
Yeah.
I think when it collides with when you did some improvements too, and you're
Yeah.
thinking, oh, my improvements, and then you're
yeah.
not thinking, it's like a double whammy when you're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, my improvements, and then.
because it's appreciation plus the improvements.
Yeah, so it kind of hits on
Right.
that sort of as well, but
Well, we should ponder that, whether we do it every other year or, I don't know I think annually might be overkill.
no, no, not annually. If you would,
For the process.
perspective of budget wise,
Oh,
you would not, it
that's
would
what I'm
be-
saying is we'd have to look at that, like,
that would be a killer to your budget. We would not be able to afford.
totally understand.
Yeah.
That much benefit for the.
And that would be, I would think the most you would probably want to go to would be probably like once every 3 years,
Oh, really?
like, yeah,
I think we should, just what the cost is, what the difference is.
yeah,
I mean, because you're saying what you're trying to do is save, or make it smoother for residents,
Yeah.
more understandable.
Yeah.
But without burying the staff or burying the budget,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So it would be
usual
like-
stuff.
It was an extraordinary 5 years.
And remember, yeah, the extraordinary, and it started out with the 9%
Yeah.
CPI,
Yeah.
with 21, 22.
Yeah, something,
So one of those years in there, so that we had a big
Yeah.
jump.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So, but we don't know what this, what the current jump is going to be either.
Do you, any idea what the village is? What the village's
what's up?
reval look like?
Well, I just seen that's the other thing, we're not matched up with it, so if you guys remember, like, when they did their board of review, which was much earlier, which was in the spring of the year, you had seen everyone, they're like, oh,
Oh,
did
yes.
you get your letter?
Yes. I
And so it
do
would have been
remember
better,
that.
if we would have been able to butt up against theirs, because then everyone would have been, commiserating sort of together at the same
Yes.
time, but we weren't,
Right.
because
Very-
they're larger, so they kind of get through them first, and then we're smaller, so it would be better if we all were together, because then it would make more sense.
Yeah, but you would think that their increase, because they're doing it even going back every other year or more lately every year. What somebody sees won't be a 50%, in the village won't be like 50% plus.
Right.
It would be 10 or 15 or whatever, something like that.
It's still drastic to them, even though it's still drastic to them, And I think part of it is the school district had a referendum in there, so the taxes had
Yes.
gone up within there. And so I think it's more of a tax thing. It's more of a tax thing. So then they
Right.
can, in their mind, they think of the taxes because there was a referendum.
Yeah, right.
And so it's kind of just it's like a tax thing.
Yeah.
This just
Yeah.
makes me think of one of the vision survey response sections, is that there was some demand for information sessions from the board, like to talk about taxes or to talk about property or to talk about whatever, which I think is a great idea. I don't know how we make that happen exactly, but this is just making me think of it. Like every meeting makes me think of that, is that this would be great that if we had residents who were more educated on what do you have to do and what you have to know to own property here in the town. Not that we're super unique, but it's more
I think,
it's more personal to them.
I think Wisconsin Towns Association could help us with some of that
Yeah,
as well.
materials
Some of
and-
that,
Might even have some programs you could.
exactly,
You
you
could-
could subscribe to.
Yeah.
Yeah, just educational. Hey, this quarter's education is the revaluation,
Yeah, something.
or how do you read your tax bill?
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
I know that's some future committee.
Yeah, I mean, on page 63 of your packet, you can kind of see like, I put in a mill rate worksheet because a lot of people like, they pay their taxes to us. And so I think they like assume, hey, the money's going to the town and the town's doling out
Yes.
the money. And it's like, town's not doling out the money. We're collecting it because the other people, we're like the collectors of what the other people are taking from you. So as you can see, it's like, Dane County's taking, it's like the school district is taking the biggest share. Dane County's taking the second biggest share, then there's us, there's, Madison College, and then the Belleville School District with a small portion. So it's like, we're not the big dog in the fight.
No.
We're the small dog in the fight.
But people look at the dollar
Yes.
amount.
And but they write the check to us, the
Yeah.
first one, so they think that we're the big dog. We're the bill collector. We're like literally the agency that collects the check.
Yeah,
That's it.
Pretty
And that's all we are.
but it's things like that.
So it's like you say that we should like be doing it. It's kind of like, we're again the bill collector. We're not really the,
I think
We're the local government though.
it's kind of, it's,
This is, this is a wish list kind of thing.
So
You know what I mean?
if the taxes are gonna go up, it's sort of like, it's hard to answer that because we are the small dog. It's the bigger dogs like the Oregon School District. And I don't know what they're gonna do because you hear a lot talking about the school district
Right.
and their finances. And I have zero idea. I just don't know what that looks
Not the
like.
right people.
And as we're talking about that, again, just planting a seed, as we talk about this fire station thing, the next on the horizon around 2030 could very well be a middle school.
Oh.
That's why I say, if we don't make some decisions about our own house sooner than later, it'll be 10 years before we can talk about it again.
Mhm.
Because there are gonna be lots of hands in our pockets
Yes.
around that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just planting a seed, don't need to talk about it.
All right, any more assessor stories? Jennifer, you have any clerk report items? I see a lot of pages in there.
Oh, no, so in there, no, I just had some pages of like more reading if nobody cares about reading, but in there is Tuesday, the 11th, which was a day that we actually picked for was going to be our budget work session and our town board meeting. It is actually a federal holiday. It is Veterans Day, which I never even, it just.
Yeah,
Never even like, it sort of dawned on me. So I was thinking perhaps we should maybe amend that day just since in recognition of Veterans Day and having it be. Would we like to do it on Wednesday, the 12th or on Monday, the 10th?
10. Both for the 10.
Okay, I'm totally fine with either. I just thought maybe it just would be.
I vote for the 10.
I've got to clean my bathtub.
Oh.
Is that when you do
Oh,
10th is
That's the
fine.
new one.
okay, so you're looking at moving the board meeting
Monday.
from the 11th to the 10th.
Yes, and then it would be also the budget work session or the budget hearing that night, so we'd move the. Okay, it just seems like that would be since it's a meeting that other people would attend, it would
Mhm.
seem to be appropriate to.
Mhm.
10th works.
Well, right now, it doesn't seem to want to let me edit it.
Does the date work for you though?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay,
We'll clean the bathtub on Sunday.
that's perfect. All right, well, let's go ahead and we'll make that date change if that's, okay, perfect. Oh, wait,
Yeah, that's good.
okay.
I don't think I can be here for the next meeting. If it's on the date
September
I
meeting?
think I have.
Would we like to amend that? Okay, and then that would be September.
The September meeting on the 9th?
Yes, yeah.
We have a
Is that
couple.
the,
Wait, do we
is
have,
that still, is that the date that we have today? Is the 9th?
September 9th is the
That's the
date we
second
have
Tuesday.
today. The 15th, we have a work session.
I'll be home for that for sure.
I mean, I can, like I did last time when Tim, or I'm sorry, Steve couldn't make it. I mean, I don't know his schedule, but I mean, I could always ask him if we would want to. We have several meetings in the month of September. We have a work session, and then we have board of review, which are both in that second week of September,
Mhm.
The work session on the 16th?
the 15th, Monday, the 15th.
okay, now you have the,
Oh,
the plan commission's on the 16th,
Yes.
and that's when we also, this is a joint thing with the plan commission, the visioning.
Yeah, it should be.
And then,
And that's at nighttime. That's 5. Well, at least I have it as 5 to 8.
Yes, that's what I have too.
Yeah, I don't have that on, I gotta put that on,
The vision community input session.
yeah, I gotta put that on our thing too.
Which I think is mainly, it's an open meeting, but it's mainly committees and board and plan commission,
I'll add that.
the main part of the discussion. At least that's the way we're thinking about it.
and speaking of some of the planning, we have the plan commission is on August 19th. Do we have a redraft from the Dane County yet?
No, in fact, Stephanie was telling me today, she's like, I'm gonna have to make up an agenda, because I think Bridget's been on vacation, so she was a little.
Okay,
She,
So I'm just-
not much of an agenda for your meeting next
do
week.
we have any business?
No,
Okay, I was just gonna say there, it doesn't,
so, yeah, that's
Why
what,
not meeting?
yeah, that's what I think she was gonna ask you about. She was a
Yeah.
little, she was questioning that today.
okay, I'll give her a call tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. Okay, so, with having such a busy week on, what would you guys like to do for that September 9th? I mean, we'll have a meeting unless there's something different that there's gonna be a busy week. You'll have
The following
meetings.
week.
Yeah, there'll be a busy week following week. But is there anything you would like to try to do to accommodate? I can ask Steve Jernigan if he would, are you out that whole week, Tim?
I am. I'm out
Okay.
the first 2 weeks of September.
Throughout the first 2 weeks, okay.
Mhm.
All right, well,
Well, we
we'll just go ahead and have that September meeting, or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the
so-
only other thing we could do is take that work session, that town board work session on the 15th,
Right.
and turn it into an evening meeting.
For the board meeting, or we're gonna have the board meeting on the 9th?
I know, I'm saying if you wanted to exchange the 9th for the 15th, that would be the only other
Only
option.
option you can think of, and
Yeah.
have that in the evening?
Yeah, and not have it be a work session, but turn it into
An
an
evening
evening
We can do
meeting.
that.
And
What was the
it's-
work session gonna be? Budget?
No, it was going to be to look at the plan commission applications.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
That has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that you could
Right.
still do that at the board
At the
meeting.
board meeting?
Yeah, I'm just saying if you wanted to change that into an evening meeting,
no, I
make it a
agree.
board
Yeah.
meeting, yeah,
I think we should do that.
okay,
If that works.
okay. So would you like to take, I mean, I know Steve's gonna be here on the 15th, because he agreed to the 15th.
Oh, for the work session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
So
don't know if he's gonna be here that evening.
I have on my schedule yet, I have the Brooklyn Fire EMS
Oh.
meeting that night.
Oh,
15th?
Which is what Steve would have.
oh.
I don't have that anymore.
Right, but you still.
That's what Steve would have,
Bummer.
if that's, if that's
Yeah.
actually what it is.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, I don't have the Brooklyn meeting on my
Okay.
calendar, sorry.
All right,
Okay,
Let's keep it as is then.
okay, let's keep it as is.
Yeah.
Okay,
on the 9th.
So Tuesday the 9th,
yeah,
you're not gonna be able to be there.
I'm not.
Steve is gonna be there on the 9th.
It's the set
yeah,
schedule.
I don't know that he's
So we're not
not.
moving
Yeah.
that one. That's just the regular second Tuesday meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we don't.
yeah,
we're-
Steve will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be down Tim.
And I think the only thing that would be potential would be the financing of the loan, but we could move that to the work session on the 15th if we wanted to do that.
Quick.
And we could
Discussion,
just,
yeah.
and so we could take that, if you'd like, and move that agenda item to that meeting.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anything we want, we could just switch to that. Okay,
I think so.
Okay.
Good plan.
okay.
Okay, so
Jennifer, anything else for
No.
related things? And
Oh,
then,
and then I just put in your packet, Deputy Collins put a
oh, right,
speed board on Glenway.
yeah.
Yeah, who requested that?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Maybe she talked to a resident.
I showed Sue, I said, did you guys request a speed study on Glenway? And she's like, no,
no,
somebody did. And she goes,
Or I wonder if they do a like random, regular speed checks or something.
Ask her. I'll reply to her and ask her. I just got it really late in the day today, so I didn't have any chance and.
Are we charged with this?
I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't think so, because I didn't.
It just happened. Unless that was, well,
yes,
I mean, it was Glenway, which is our hotspot for speed, or one of them. I guess.
it's the Glenway by Town Park though. It's not the Glenway south of A.
Oh,
It's by Town Park.
Oh.
It's between Town Park. They did a speed study between Town Park and Glenway Circle.
Hmm.
That's it.
wait,
okay,
Town Park and Glenway Circle. It's a 1 block stretch. You know, where the road kind
a little,
of zags just
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, interesting.
They did clock 2 people over 70 miles.
I saw that. I just think I can beat that.
Looks like a challenge.
All right, let's try to wrap this up. Any, item 16, I think we talked about schedules and we're working on that. Anything else for the evening? Thinking that is 3 no's.
I don't have anything.
Nothing. Harlan?
I moved it.
Okay, then without objection, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
So, anything come out of the meeting that give you any insight?
It's interesting to hear what's going on in town and.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next month for 3 hours.
Maybe I'll become one of the Zoomers.
So when you asked, are we spending more money because we have hired